בוקר טוב, חנוכה שמח. סליחה, sorry for the delay this morning. Sorry for the delay this morning. We had for Hanukkah longer tefillah. I apologize. Not to you, but God made me pray. I want to talk about Hanukkah, the importance of Hanukkah, the relevant, how Hanukkah is relevant to our days with what's going on today. There is a very, very interesting question about Hanukkah. There were two miracles in Hanukkah. Miracle number one was, we won! Giborim b'yad chalashim. Strong people won by weak people. So Baruch Hashem, we were able to win the war and we're celebrating it. The second miracle is Shemen, the oil that's supposed to be lit for 1 day was on for 8 days. They said if you want to explain today a teenager, what was the miracle of Ner Chanukah, you're telling him you have your battery 2% and it goes for all day. So that's the equivalent of Ner Chanukah. Amount of oil that good for 1 day was good for 8 days. So we had two miracles. Number one, the winning the war. Number two, the oil was last for 8 days. Which miracle was in public? Which miracle was in private? Winning the war was in public. We won. The miracle of the oil was in private. It was in the Hechal. Where is the Hechal? The Hechal was inside in Bet HaMikdash, where only Kohanim allowed to enter. Regular people, me and Yitzchak, wouldn't be able to go into the Hechal because we are not Kohanim. We couldn't even see the Hechal. So the miracle of the war was in private. The miracle of the miracle of the war were in public, and the miracle of the oil was in private. In practical level, the way we are celebrating the miracles is when do we mention the portion that we won the war? When do we mention that we won the war? Baruch Hashem, we made it in the tefillah, the special Ala Nisim. Ala Nisim. Then you have Yimei Matityahu. We have a special story how the miracle happened. So that story of the miracle happening, Baruch Hashem, we won the war, we're saying it quietly in the tefillah. Where do we mention the miracle of the menorah? Outside, on the windows, at the entrances, all over. So it's very interesting. The miracle that happened in public, we won the war, we're celebrating it in a quiet mode in our tefillah. And the miracle that happened in a very quiet, small place, we are celebrating it in a public place. What's going on? Usually, whenever we're commemorating, whenever we're celebrating moments, we try to have the same experience as we had during the time of the miracle. What's the reason that we consider it as a public miracle and a hidden miracle? And a public miracle became something very small, seems to be minor in the tefillah. So there is a famous question. It's called the question of Hanukkah. The Bet Yosef asked the following question. He said, the oil was good for how long? 1 day. The miracle was that it was extended to 8 days. So how long was the miracle for? 7 days. Because day number one, anyway, you wouldn't be able to use the same oil. So the miracle really extends itself for the following 7 days. With that being said, why are we celebrating 8 days of Hanukkah? We should celebrate 7 days of Hanukkah. Something that really bothered me, reading all of the story, we never see that we were celebrating miracle of winning a war. Am Yisrael, throughout generations, won many wars. And we never celebrated. When we came out of Egypt, what are we celebrating coming out of Egypt? We're not celebrating of killing the Egyptians. we are celebrating, we got out of Egypt. Every word that happened in Am Yisrael, we didn't celebrate the winning portion of it. We did celebrate the escape of it. How come here in this miracle we are celebrating winning? We are winners. We never see, it's not part of Am Yisrael. A few weeks ago we read in the parasha, Hakol Kol Yaakov Ve'ayadayim Yedei Esav. The voice, it's only a power of Yaakov. Hands are the power of Esav. The Gemara said that any word that we are going to win, we have from the hands of Esav inside the word. In another way, we take away something that does not belong to us. In order for us to win the war, we got to use the tools of Esav. Winning the war, it's not part of Am Yisrael. How come we suddenly celebrating winning wars? We are strong. We never did such a thing. So in order to understand what's the celebration of Hanukkah, we need to understand what was the mission of the Romans, what they were trying to do to us. The Midrash said that the Romans equivalent to Choshech, darkness. We know that the Greek philosophy, they brought a lot of enlightenment to the world. It used to be that people used to work from morning till evening, you're going to sleep and the day is over. The Greeks brought into the world a philosophy of entertainment. Get out of yourself, enjoy your life, have fun. Yet the Midrash described them as darkness. Why is going out, having fun, their philosophy of entertainment, why are we classifying it as darkness? It seems to be something very essential that we really need within ourselves to take care of our body, to take care of our health. How come it's being defined as darkness? The Romans made 3 decrees on Am Yisrael. Do not keep Shabbat, no Rosh Chodesh, and no Milah. If I would be a Roman, I would say no Shabbat, no Kashrut, no Taharat HaMishpacha, no Mikveh, right? This is the 3 essential. How come they stuck into Shabbat, Rosh Chodesh, and no Brit Milah? What was their goal? What's unbelievable about Torah, if you're learning Halakha, if you're learning Gemara, the Torah is giving you instruction at every stage and moment of your life what to do. It is unbelievable to see, beside the basics of we have to keep Shabbat, we have to eat kasher, any behavior, any movement within ourselves being addressed in halakha. How do you have to behave? What do you have to do? I give you examples that you might not be aware of, but how does a person goes to the restroom? How is supposed to clean himself in a restroom? It's halakha. How does a man sleep with his wife? How does a man intimate with his wife? Halakha. If you go on the street and you have a saliva you want to spit out, there is an halakha how you do it. Every move, every action of our life, there is a halakha that controlling our behavior and our day-to-day and telling us what to do. Something very interesting in the Jewish people is the essential of time. We are very time-oriented. You know, we have Shkia, we have Shabbat. Almost Shabbat. Like candles. Going Shacharit, in the morning, we have end time reading of Kriyat Shema. All of that's timing, right? Everything's timing. After Shkia, everything by us involved with time. We are one of the only religions that we have exact set times. I was talking with one of my workers, and he was going to eat a meal. I'm like, he said, no, we can start a half an hour later, half an hour earlier. There are no times, even for their holidays. Our life being time-oriented, controlled by time, controlled by steps, in a way you might feel you're very controlled by other forces. Some people feel, first time keeping Shabbat, if you have nothing to do, you're not on your phone, you feel like there is something controlling, you can't move, people get anxiety. What's the idea of all of our time, all of our life? The only way we can success in our life, number one criteria for success in any business, in any operation, is organization. A company who has no proper organization, there is no way for it to grow. Why the American system work? You see one guy digging on the highway, on the middle of the road, and 5 people watching. So all of the Israelis are making fun of it. One person works, 5 people watching. By the end of the day, it works. Why? Because the American system has a lot of organization, a lot of steps. So when he digs, you have the engineer, you have the superintendent, you have the manager, you have everybody watching around. The odd to do a mistake is very rare because everything is being over-supervised and organized. Therefore, America is a model to copy. People like to know the example, an American system. Any Israeli will laugh at the American system. You see 7 people doing one thing, we can do 2 people together. By the end of the day, that system works better. Why? An organization has 2 things. Number 1, the actual process, and number 2, the mindset of people. There is a certain mindset when everything is organized in a company. When you feel everything is like, in Hebrew it says, Sachbak, akol beseder, don't worry, everything will be fine. Then in the mindset there is no proper organization. The way you will conduct yourself, the way you will behave, we're not going to be on the proper order. However, when you have everything organized in a proper system, you have a guarantee that the mindset of people will set well, they will perform well, they will do well. The Torah system is an organization of a mindset. On every step and stage of our life, we have instruction what to do. We have instruction what to think. It's unbelievable. A man not allowed to think of things inappropriate. We don't see it in any other religion. You're not allowed to think, you're not allowed to talk, you're not allowed to walk. Every step of our life has organization, has instructions. What the Torah, the power of Torah to us, is creating system that making us alert and aware on everything we are doing. When a guy asked me yesterday, it wasn't funny, it was a guy I know, Kushi, African American, pants half down, and that. He's like, Rabbi, what's the key for success? So, was a guy next to me, so he told him, tell him to pick up his pants. No, but he said the key for success is consistency. What's consistency means? We have a system of consistency. We get up in the morning early, we have shacharit, we have tefillah, we have shiur. Our life built with consistency. Jews made with consistency. Our consistency, our organization, push us to be successful. And therefore we get up early in the morning, we're doing it, we're going forward. Look at the Israeli army. When people leaving the Israeli army versus the American army. Israeli people who've been service in the army, they are the most successful people. Everybody wants to hire them. I'm sorry to say, veterans, American army, they are not successful people. In our life, we have an establishment of systems. And when we Jews are practicing the army, we do the same. But we out of the army, we're carrying it forward. That's our identity. What the Romans were trying to do is to take away our consistency, to take away our organization. They took things that establish the Jewish life organization. Shabbat, this is when you count your days. Chodesh, Beis Din used to sanctify Mekadesh the Chodesh to know when holiday is going to fall. And Brit Milah is the first act of a time of a Jewish man. By that day, man, you gotta have a Brit. We don't ask him if he wants or he doesn't want. We're giving an instruction to a baby. We're giving him times. Sometimes Goyim cannot relate to it. Why on the 8th day you're supposed to do a Brit Milah? Leave him alone, do it later. We instruct a baby on the day 8. There are times, there are structures in our life. The Romans were trying to create a chaos. How do you take it away? When you come up with a new movement of entertainment means no system. Going out to a movie theater for 3.5 hours, that means you have no value for time. There are no system. Putting focus to take care of your body for the sake of your body, there are no system. Going out, watching horses, bullfightings, there are no systems. You focus on yourself to see other stuff. You're not focused on the system. The Romans were trying to take away our self by taking out our system, taking out our ability to be consistent with times, to be consistent with mitzvot. The war against the Romans was war of what? We didn't try to kill the Romans. We were trying to get back our freedom. What is the freedom of a Jew? The consistency. A homeless has no freedom because he has no consistency. A guy without consistency, they are out there in the world without really proper behavior, proper function. In order to gain back our consistency, we had to go against a war. We won the war. What's considered as winning this war? It's not killing the Romans. That's a mistake of everybody. We are not showing we were strong, we won the war. The only thing we got, we won our freedom. We won our consistency. Jews don't celebrate winning of killing other people. We are celebrating gaining back our freedom. We are celebrating gaining back our consistency, our ability to perform, our ability to create. Therefore, the war that we won, we don't talk about it in public. You know why? Because there is nothing to talk about. Winning the war, killing others, Jews cannot be proud of. It belongs to Esav, does not belong to us. You know what we are celebrating? Consistency. Consistency in something internal within yourself that you need to carry it upon yourself. We're saying it quietly. In the tefillah, we are celebrating our consistency. We're reading it quietly. If you have a time, you have a moment to read all of Al Anisim, it's all about stages. It's all each stage being described in 5 ways. Because it's not about winning, it's about gaining and creating our consistency. Lighting the menorah, we're lighting it outside. What are we celebrating of lighting the menorah? What the Romans were trying to do to create a chaos, to take away our freedom, our consistency. What we gain is being back to our routine. Coming back to your routine is one of the biggest gifts that Hashem created in this world. People get up in the morning another week. Can you imagine those who wake up in the morning and they have no work to do? What's worse, going to work on Monday or not to work on Monday? Or not having a work? One of the biggest gifts that we have is our consistency. After we were able to win the war, we came to Beit HaMikdash. We were facing, let's light the candles. We realized that we don't have enough oil. That means we are not going to be able to be consistent. In order to be able to be consistent, God made a miracle that the candle will light, the oil will light for 8 days. The gift that God gave us by the candles, it's not the actual light. He assured to us, I will be consistent with you, same as you are consistent with me. The celebration of lighting the candles, it's about the consistency that God allows us to create. There is a halacha that you're allowed to light if all of Beit HaMikdash is tamei, it's impure. You don't need to have a pure oil. You're allowed to light with impure oil, with oil tamei. So why is God needs to create such a miracle? It is mutar, it's allowed to light with oil that it's not pure. But the miracle is not about the pure, it's about the consistency. If we wouldn't light with the same oil the whole time, we wouldn't gain the consistency, we wouldn't win the war. The reason we are lighting the Hanukkah candle outside, we want to show the world that we are consistent. The whole idea of Hanukkah candle shows consistency. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, I shared here last week that I got a call from the city mayor if you're allowed to put the Christmas tree next to the menorah on the same table. So I was thinking, I didn't give her that answer. I gave her a different answer, why it's a paradox. But one of the paradoxes between the two, that menorah shows an order. 1, day 2, 3. The tree shows one thing. No changes, nothing. That's a tree. The menorah, which shows consistency, cannot be together with something that, nothing about consistency. Just one light for them to show the whole month. We are building consistency. If anybody wants to light the candles one more day, is he allowed? No, because that's a consistency pattern that we have in the menorah. They want to keep the tree for as long as they want. They have no problem. Somebody showed me that, that if we would have the tree, can you imagine how many halachot we're going to have with the tree? If any leaves falls off the floor, you got to cover it up, you got to burn it. You got to do it the day before, you're not going to put it the day after. Can you imagine how many halachot we're going to have? However, thank God we don't have the tree, we have only the menorah. Because, no, so I answered that lady, I said it's a paradox because the menorah shows that we continue our life and our legacy. Nothing changed since God gave us the Torah. The tree represents the opposite, that the Torah had stopped in the middle. So I told her you cannot have those two together. When the tree represents the end of the Torah, and the light represents continuance of the Torah. So we cannot have it together. But she said, Rabbi, it's a bad thing. She was looking for the yes, not for the no. So basically, I let her do whatever she wants, especially if she put the menorah with the candles or with the lights on top. So our job, our responsibility in Hanukkah is to understand that we need to have consistency and we need to come up with consistency into our life. If I might say, our war in this world, the Greek philosophy in our life, it's the technology around ourselves. That takes us away from consistency. When you hold your phone, you have no idea when you're going to finish. It used to be a phone call, you don't know when it's going to finish. But when you go through social site, the more I used to have Facebook account. I think I still have Facebook account. The guy is supposed to manage my Facebook account. So if you don't get an answer, it's the guy's fault. But when I used to look on my account myself, it was like the amount of information was limited. Whoever relates to you send you information. Today, TikTok, as far as I understood from our guys, you can be non-stop and always you have new stuff and new stuff. It doesn't end. That's taking away consistency of our life. All of social media is there to take away from you your freedom, your consistency, your ability to perform. I'm sorry about the example, but I had a place, a job site, where workers were there, and the manager said we need to order the portable bathroom, the one that you can barely enter. So next to us was a house with a restroom. So I told him, why we need to spend the money and order the portable bathroom where we can have a restroom next door? He told me, you don't want it. I said, why not? He said, when the work is going to the restroom, you never know when they're going to come out. But when you go to the portable ones, they're going to come out as soon as possible. Which means we lost a sense of responsibility of the work. Anybody know a worker goes out to the restroom with his phone? You can't tell anybody, don't go to the restroom. Wow, a human being, yeah? And you never know when he's coming back. Unfortunately, our media, taking away our consistency. So to tell all of us, okay, cut off everything, it's ideal, but it's hard. I think the practical level, to create boundaries within the phone. You want to look on TikTok, no problem. Give yourself, 5 minutes, 10, as much as you want, give yourself, but don't go past, even a minute past that time. Because what they're trying to get to you, to give you more information, that any amount of time you decide, you will stay longer. That's how they try to win us. We need to win ourselves. You want to do something, it's okay. You want to be on the phone, you want to see Facebook, everything is fine. Create consistency even within the chaos. Our children, our teenagers seeing us on our phones. we as parents getting upset when we see them too much on the phone. But let's look at the mirror, we look the same. I saw my son on the phone on the other day, and it bothers me. And then I saw myself on the phone on the mirror. I'm like, why he bothers you and you don't bother yourself? Because we don't see ourselves. You know who sees us? Our children. They see us on the phone. You can't ignore it. But at least let's show our kids that we are in boundaries. We have the consistency. We can create walls within ourselves so we can give them the message, life can continue, but it's all about the borders. The Greek philosophy was all about your body, work, entertainment. It's good as long as it's coming with the right measurement. You see people going to the gym, spending 3 hours a day. That's not consistency. That's focus on yourself. You go to the gym, you need to do exercise, you have to go to vacation. Everything is good, it's fine. But it must be done with boundary, knowing that this is the need, that's the consistency, that's the time, and the remaining, I gotta be protective. I gotta do good to the world. The light of the menorah represents that time. We are celebrating a time, an ability to perform to that level, and that's the only way we can keep ourselves. I want to finish with the last one, what's going on in Israel. Basically, what the Hamas were trying to do, and based on what I heard in between, I didn't even watch news, but I heard they were trying to create a chaos while they are going into Israel. They're trying to win us by making balagan, taking us out of consistency. And unfortunately, they won and they're still winning to that extent because in Israel, they're not back to routine as much as they're trying to get to. It's difficult, it's hard. That's how our enemy is always trying to win us, to take away our consistency and ability to behave. It's interesting that restaurants around here are suffering now because they don't have many people who are coming. People are uncomfortable to come, but they took away consistency. We have obligation, it might sound funny to you, to support our restaurants that we are used to going, to support our shopping on the same place. If we need to go to Israel, we should go when we need to Israel. We can let them take away our consistency. You know, many people are not coming to New York to here because of what's going on. Can you imagine? Owner of Jewish businesses needing to pay out of pocket, and we're waiting for those months, and unfortunately it's not. They're taking away who we are. We cannot let them win. The reason this time we are doing better in the world, to a certain extent, unfortunately we're losing so many souls, but we feel it's not like what used to be on the previous war, because we became organized and consistent. We didn't jump to respond after the day after. We became well prepared, we create consistency, but we need to bring it back to ourselves. We must go back to routine, must back to ourselves, to our energy. We must remember everybody, we need to put in our consistency daily, we need to make sure to see our people, to watch what's going on with them, to relate to them, but by the end of the day, to continue our consistency, because that's our identity, that's how we were able to win the war, and that's how Am Yisrael Chai V'Kayam Lanetzach. Amen.